Well, hello and welcome back to yet another incredible video. And today I am going to be showing you guys 10 DIYs where I repurpose something that was trash and turn it into a high-end looking treasure. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for this one, I'm going to be using one of those plastic orange juice bottles, you know, the ones with the green cap. And at the top, before it kind of bottlenecks, if you will, it has like a little scalloped edge. And I wanted to try to preserve that. So I come through and try to cut off the top piece with my scalpel, still kind of trying to preserve that scalloped edge. So now I'm going to use a technique that I've been using for years, and this is basically I'm just going to mix some apple barrel white paint, some baking soda, and some water together until I get kind of a texture that I'm looking for, and I'm going for a little like stucco, if that makes sense. And once I have that, I will go down and lay a coat on top of my plastic bottle, which is now going to be a vase. And I ultimately laid down 3 coats, I believe, to get it to where it was that I wanted it to go, but you will just see me lay down 1. So I know you're probably thinking, what the heck is going on with this jute? Well, I am kind of using it to help stabilize my quote-unquote vase because it was very light. And then it also gave me some loops and things to put my florals down into. And you guys know I will come up with any hack that keeps me from using floral foam. So I think this vase actually turned out very cute. Never mind my arrangement, okay? I did what, like I said, I could do. But in terms of turning that plastic bottle into something that you could actually use in your home that people would just think was a really cool vase, I think I did that. But you guys let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. Using a mug holder, and this came from a set of mugs I had recently purchased. And I'm also using some stained paint stir sticks from another project. I had harvested these from another project. So straight up, you guys, this is a full trash to treasure. And what you will see me do is take my cup holder, because it was gold, outside and give it a coat of white spray paint. And then I will bring it back inside and start to glue with hot glue and fix-all glue my craft sticks down around it. And you will watch as this comes together. So once my craft sticks are on, I go ahead and lay down just a piece of contact paper across my outside, but then I take it and spray paint the inside white, and that's because white reflects light better, and that's what I needed for my piece. After that, I will just slip this down over one of those light fixtures that you guys have seen me use, and you guys will see what she looks like in just a moment. Okay, so I love it. It's simple, it's classy, she's tall, it doesn't take up very much space, and more importantly, she was made from trash, things that I was gonna throw away, things that were being, repurposed here. So let me know in the comments if you guys are feeling this piece. Always keep these. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down to 3 different sizes. So now that my pieces are cut, we are about to get fancy. So I'm taking one of those boxes of tumbling tower blocks that has both the light unstained color and that darker color. And I'm just separating them out to make it easier for myself. And then I will start to hot glue them to my cylinder, if that makes sense. And you will watch how this comes together. So once I have my blocks on all 3 of my pieces, I go ahead and grab some more of those macrame rings, and on the 2 shortest ones, I just add them on the bottom to give it a little something extra, because you guys know I love a little something extra. So now to bring in our element of glass, I am going to be using ramekins from the Dollar Tree. I believe they come in a pack of 4. I will only need 3, and I will glue these down to the top of my cylinders. And just like this, they are fine. I dropped a couple of tea lights in, and they're beautiful. They're very boho. They're given all the wooden feels, right? But you guys know that I'm doing my spray paint techniques right now. So I took these out and gave them a couple of coats, trying to make them kind of have more substance, almost again, looking at that stone look. And this is how they turned out. And yeah, I don't know, but I do like these having been spray painted. I liked them as just the unfinished kind of wood, if you will, but this is just, I don't know, it fits more into our decor. But make sure to let me know in the comments which one of these styles you prefer. Piece of wood. We have tons of wood, so these are always laying around. And she was stained on one side, but she was not stained on the other, and so I gave that unfinished side a coat of Waverly Antique Wax. Once she has dried, I grab 3 of the larger size of those molding blocks, and I go ahead and glue them down to my wood. This is important to note. Because of what I'm going to be placing on this, glue is not going to be enough alone. So you will see me come through with some L corner brackets, and I will go ahead and screw those on, because again, we're dealing with wood here, so why not? Why not make sure that she's good and secure? I just want to pipe in here and say, do not be afraid of the hardware store. I love the Dollar Tree too, you guys. I really, really do. But don't be afraid to reach out to other places and find good deals and try new stuff. You will be surprised at what kind of DIYs you can come up with. using a holder that held some coasters that I purchased for a previous DIY, and I had made a lamp with using this as a base in the past, but then I had taken that lamp apart and now I'm using that base again. And I took it outside and sanded it down because it had glue on it, and then you will see me give it a coat of Waverly Antique Wax on the outside, and then we will start to build our lamp using unstained tumbling tower blocks. So before we jump the gun, we do need to do a pretty important step for our lamp's structural integrity. And that is, I'm going to use some of that poster board that I picked up. You probably saw this in one of my Dollar Tree finds shorts. I didn't know what to do with it at first, but now I knew what I needed to do with it. And that is, you'll see me trace out the shape of my coaster holder, and then I basically get it down to a circle, right? That has a hole in the center. And what that's gonna be is almost a stabilizer for every layer of our tower, if you will, lamp as we build it. And you will watch as I use these as we're putting this together. So now that we have everything we need, I'm just going to start gluing down my tumbling tower blocks around that top part of the coaster holder. And then once I get that first layer done, you will see me add our kind of, if you will, stabilizing piece, that ring. I'll glue that on top, and then I will begin to put my second layer on top of that, and then glue another one down and put my third layer on top of that. And you will watch as this comes together. And as always, if you have any questions, make sure to put them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. So now that we have our piece together, I added a little bit of reinforcement using some of that wood grain. I have this really super sticky wood grain tape, and I kind of did a couple of strips inside of that. And then you will also see me go ahead and wrap my base, again using contact paper similar to the first one, and a little bit of, I think it was, what is that called? Masking tape. And that is because we're going to take this outside and spray paint the outside and the inside white. So as you can see, I was able to easily nestle my light fixture, if you will, down inside of it, and then I used that little hole space to drop my cord back out of it. And I just really love the way this turned out. Again, this is the second iteration of me using this base, and I like this one. She's just a cute little tabletop lamp that you can put pretty much anywhere, and it's perfect, I think, as a neutral piece because it'll fit into any decor. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this piece. We have alcohol cleaning pads for like cleaning stuff that comes into the house and blah, blah, blah. And so we have a lot of these kind of plastic canisters, if you will. So I grab one of those, I pull off the label, and I cut down the top because it was a little bit tall for me. And then, oh my goodness, I can't even believe I came up with this. And then we had a set of mini blinds that we no longer were using because one of the blinds had broken at the top. And I was like, don't throw those away. Don't throw them away, I have an idea. So you will see as I cut off a couple of strips of that and add that to my canister. And then you will see me grab some tumbling tower blocks and basically just use those to create kind of a set of legs, if you will. So my canister will have 3 legs, and then you will see me just do a quick little floral arrangement. like it never left. It's the return of the busted blinds. And that's right, you guys, I'm going to use these until I run out of slats. You will see me as I cut, I think I wound up doing 4 per side, so I think that's 16. I'm going to cut 16 of these slats off of these blinds. So once I have my slats, I go ahead and just make sure they're the right size for the frame that I am using. And the frames that I am using are going to be, again, those Aloha frames, you guys. I snatched up almost every last one from the Dollar Tree when they put these out because I saw the potential. And you will see me as I kind of prep them. They've got a string on it, beads, and that Aloha sign. All that stuff needs to be taken off. And then I will just get it down to the point where I have 4 frames. Okay, so this next step is what makes this DIY probably one of my favorites because it's so easy. I'm basically just going to start gluing down, just with hot glue, those blind strips to the inside of our Aloha frames. And we're just gonna do 4 a piece. So once we have our completed panels, we're just gonna go ahead and whip her up into a box like we always do. And this time we're going to use a combination of hot glue as well as that fix-all glue from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to build our light box. So I love these simple DIYs where you're basically making just a chassis for a lamp. And what I mean by chassis is it's just the outside, right? I'm just sitting this down over one of my lamp inserts and it just works perfect. You could make this a standalone lamp by adding a bottom to it. It just wasn't important to me, but you certainly could if you wanted to. From the Dollar Tree, and these have a black kind of stain or finish to it, which is perfect. And then I'm using 2 of those square boxes from the Dollar Tree. You will watch me as I go ahead and stain those boxes using Waverly Antique Wax, and then I will connect it all together. So I added some clawfoot hangers on the back, and then also I added some clear votives with some of those battery operated votive candles and a few pine cones. It's gorgeous, and I personally think that this is one of those ones that you could transition through the seasons, changing out whatever was in those boxes. Even just putting in a little piece of greenery so that you could have her up all year round. But I really, really love this piece. Let me know if you love it too in the comments. So for this next DIY, I'm going to be using one of these green bottles, and I think it held like mineral water, you know, or some sort of sparkling water product. I'm showing you guys 3 here, but ultimately I just wind up using 1. And I go ahead and get that label off and get her cleaned up. And then you will see me start to add my jute. And I start at the top and I just work my way down the bottle. And I think in the end, this wound up taking me about, I think it was a rope and a half, perhaps, or the better part of 2 ropes to get done. So the next thing I do is I take a little bit of white paint on a sponge and just kind of give some hits to that jute so it's not so jutey, if that makes sense. And that's because I have a relationship with jute. And so I was just trying to give it a little something extra, if that makes sense. So I have a scrap piece of wood here. I think it's about 2 inches wide, I want to say, but it is a foot long. And I go ahead and just hit this with some Waverly antique wax. So now that everything's dry, I can go ahead and start putting my piece together. So I grabbed 2 of those kind of ceramic vases, pots, I don't know what they were, from the Dollar Tree. And I made sure that they were the same design, but you could certainly switch that up. And my bottle. And I go ahead and glue my bottle down onto my stained piece of wood. And then I glue one of those ceramic dealers on either side of my bottle. Okay, I think this one is my favorite of the day that you will see, and I love the simplicity of it, and I like how you could just switch those florals out, right? The piece itself is very neutral, so you could switch the florals out for something seasonal or just put stuff in there like I did where you could leave it all year long. But let me know at the end of the video which one of these you guys feel is your favorite. Okay, so this is one of those classic examples where you start off completely lost, not knowing where you're going, and you wind up with something that's really, really impressive. And you guys are about to watch as this comes together. So once my cardboard is together, this is where I'm taking it to the heights, you guys. I went to the Dollar Tree and got some of those scatters. Now the only color that they had was this weird blue, and that's okay because it's gonna get spray painted in the end, so follow with me. And I'm just going to start gluing these down all around this cardboard, covering all the cardboard from the sides to the top. And you will watch as this comes together. So once I have all my pieces on, and yes, it was a freaking labor of love, but once they're all on, I will go through with my glue gun and basically grout in between the pieces with hot glue. And this is just going to help to have a more cohesive look once it's spray painted so that those holes and things don't show. And then of course after that, I take it outside and I spray paint the whole thing black using a gloss spray paint because I want this to have a little bit of a sheen. Well, as always, I thank you guys so very much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate you. Please take a moment and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, I invite you to come back, hang out, and be okay with us.